Howdy everybody, my name is Phillip Shepard. I'm a local real estate agent located right here in Northwest Arkansas. And today we're talking about some really massive developments that are happening in Rogers, Arkansas. So let's talk about that. But before we begin, if you could like this video and also subscribe, that would make the world of difference. I try to produce as much content as humanly possible about Northwest Arkansas. Also, before we jump into the video, I have a 3-day itinerary linked down below for you. So maybe you're an adventurer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you have kids, maybe you're a sightseer. I'm not sure. But there's a 3-day itinerary linked down below for you. So go ahead and download it and use it when you get down here. All right, so this video has been a long time waiting because there have been so many developments in like Rogers. Rogers is, if you aren't aware, is doing very, very well. It has done very well this year, the last couple of years, just like Bentonville, just like Fayetteville, just like Springdale. And I need to focus a 100% video on the big developments in Rogers. So let's get into the first one. And let's jump into the first one. And the first one is called the First Street Flats. So this has been a recent development the last couple of weeks, but there has been a developer that's coming from Texas and is investing $28 million into a brand new, like basically apartment complex, restaurants, all sorts of new things, like massive building in Rogers, like downtown section. And just to clarify, there are two downtown sections of Rogers. There's the Old Town, that's kind of like the older style of Rogers, that's closer to the rail yard, towards like obviously the rail tracks itself. Onyx hangs out there, the rail yard's there, the bike park's there, Lake Atlanta's over on that side, and that's on the far east side of Rogers. And then there's the new part, Uptown, and that's on the east side of Rogers, and that holds a lot of things as well. We'll talk about that in a second because there's some things going on there. But the First Street Apartments or First Street development is going to sound exactly what it's like. It's just a massive complex of 121 new apartments, all new restaurants, all new things that are happening to that whole downtown section of Rogers. Now, the cool thing with Rogers is about 6-7 years ago, Rogers got really smart and they planned basically the master plan for Rogers for the next like 10 to 15 years. And this is just part of the master plan, that they were to revitalize the downtown section. They built Lake Atlanta, they built the rail yard. They had so many new developments in the last couple of years. They've had like hundreds of businesses move into that downtown section. So it's no surprise that that actually like brought in a $28 million investment into the city itself on top of all of the extra businesses that are coming into on top of that. So if you are in downtown Rogers, just know that there's probably a decent amount of construction going on. There's a bunch of new businesses that are finishing up as we speak, but know that new development is going to be kind of right there, and you'll be seeing it being developed like right away because like construction starts like in like 2 weeks. So it's really exciting to be in Rogers downtown section. One little quick little tidbit about the new First Street Apartments and kind of like complex being in downtown Rogers is actually being designed and developed and architecturally by Modis. So if you don't know what Modis is, obviously, they are an architectural firm that has done so many things in Northwest Arkansas. Centennial Pavilion, they've done the Ozark Natural Co-op, they have done the Osage Park Pavilion in Bentonville, they've done the Red Barn in Bentonville, they've done the brick lofts that are finishing up in Fayetteville, they've done 112 West Center in Fayetteville, they've done, let's see here, Kohler Mountain Preserve, which is out by the Airship Coffee Place. They've done so many things around Northwest Arkansas and all around, basically honestly all around America. They're not strictly just for Northwest Arkansas, but because their stuff goes so far out. They also did the Cardinal in Fayetteville, so they've done so many things in Northwest Arkansas. And number 2, and we're going over to the east side now, which we talked about, the Uptown section of Rogers, and there's obviously a brand new development happening over there. If you haven't been over onto the newer side, the uptown side of Rogers, that's where Walmart Amphitheater is, that's where Topgolf is, that's where Andy's Frozen Custard is. My favorite, but also obviously Torchy's, all sorts of different restaurants over there. Heroes Coffee's over there. There's all sorts of new office buildings over there, and a lot of stuff going on the uptown side of Rogers, the other downtown section. I could go on. There's the mall over there, all sorts of new, like obviously like Dave & Buster's, the cinema. Anyways, long story short, there is a $2 billion investment into that whole section right there on that side of Rogers. The middle phase of that development is happening now. And so that's gonna include another, obviously large apartment complex there. But on top of that, it's gonna be the first like true luxury hotel in downtown Rogers. So people are really excited for that to be built. A company from Louisiana is coming up from there and designing a very luxurious hotel over there. So super cool to see how that pans out. There's about 7 or 8 new businesses that have already been implemented there that are being developed as we speak. So obviously they have a lot more build out to do. It's planned to be finished in like mid of late next year and probably like maybe into next 2024. Oh my gosh, we're almost in 2023. But they just started breaking ground like a month or 2 ago. And so development's already happening. Obviously the luxury hotels are already starting to be built and the new businesses are being brought in. So it's really cool to have a $2 billion like development right there in Rogers. Whoa, before we jump on to the next point, I have something brand new called Instant Home Updates. So maybe you're thinking about moving down here and you're looking like apartments or maybe homes for sale, and you're quickly realizing like Realtor.com or Zillow are way too slow. The notifications, way too slow. So I made something called Instant Home Updates, and it sounds exactly what it sounds like, Instant Home Updates. Wild, I know. So if you want to make sure you don't miss anything around Northwest Arkansas for what you're looking for, homes for sale or for rent, enter your information below, square footage, bedrooms, homes, price, the whole thing, and I'll make sure to get that set up for you right away. Also, I send an email out every single Friday, so maybe you want to keep up to date with Northwest Arkansas stuff, comedians, events, music venues, bikes, blues, and barbecue, new businesses, all the cool things that are happening here. Enter your information below, just your email, and I send an email every single Friday. Little side note, you might get a little fear of missing out, especially if you're not here, and you're gonna see that, quickly realize like, oh my gosh, I need to get there. But I do admit that as soon as you get here, you'll be the most knowledgeable person about Northwest Arkansas when you get here. And number 3, we're going back to the west side, the old side of Rogers. I've talked about this company before on my channel, but the company's called LoLoft. If you don't know what LoLoft is, it's a company that's basically, I would consider kind of like the Airbnb style of warehousing. One little tidbit of information for anyone who wants to invest some money into Northwest Arkansas. Northwest Arkansas is in like really big need for warehousing because there's so much industry moving here from across America, usually from the East Coast moving into the heartland. So LoLoft is kind of the Airbnb style of warehousing to some extent. So they're opening up their first 28,000 square foot facility in downtown Rogers. So if you are kind of like looking for that kind of temporary warehousing, so you, or maybe you're into like obviously supply chain management or something like that, and you need that kind of temporary housing, that is gonna be a huge plus for you down in town Rogers. So a lot of companies are gonna be leveraging that because they don't necessarily have the warehousing right away. So they're leveraging LoLoft to kind of like do that temporary warehousing. On top of that, they're finally opening up on November 30th, so really cool. But not only are they doing just strictly warehousing, but they're opening up their offices to like co-working spaces, having Wi-Fi, internet, coffee, the whole thing. But on top of that, you'll be able to work out of that workspace as well. So we have warehousing, co-working space, coffee, the whole shebang is coming right downtown Rogers. And number 4 is more of a update necessarily than a development, if that makes sense. But there's an event that happens every single year in Northwest Arkansas called the Sturgeons of the Midwest. And this basically, it's called Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. Every single year it's been held in Fayetteville. And this year's the first year that it's actually held in the downtown section of Rogers in the old style. I was able to go down there and it was really cool to see so many people and events and bikes and food vendors. It was a blast. And there's 30,000 people like right in downtown Rogers. So the businesses did so well there. And the report came back that like, it was a wild success for downtown Rogers because obviously they've developed so much down there and it's just brought more and more businesses to downtown Rogers, but it's really cool to see Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue to work right down there. All the music, all the food, all the fun. And if you're into motorcycles, obviously that's part of it too. But it's really cool to kind of like, you know, putz around down there and just see all the lively music and everything happening. So it's really cool to get a great report from obviously a lot of the businesses and the people that live downtown. And obviously the organization in general is super happy with the outcome of the event. And I'm sure it'll be happening there next year. And last but certainly not least, PLP has announced that they're bringing a brand new 82,000 square foot facility to Rogers. Now you're probably thinking, what is PLP? Who gives a rip? I had to look it up too because I'm like, I don't know what this means. So PLP obviously is an industrial thing, like it sounds like, but they are a manufacturer of high technology kind of stuff. So like fiber optic, cable, all sorts of things that deal with communication, like between businesses and air and wire, all the different things. They're a production facility that sells all across the world. And so they're bringing a facility, a 82,000 square foot facility to Rogers to develop right here in the heartland. So obviously, once again, LoLoft is gonna, I'm sure, capitalize on this in some extent, but obviously PLP is bringing, you know, so many new jobs to the area. So kind of a little secret on Northwest Arkansas is the fact that we have a lot of, you know, high tech startups around here. We have all sorts of different things that are happening, of course, when it comes to technology. But the secret is that NWA specifically is a big industrial section as well. Like a lot of manufacturing happens in Northwest Arkansas. And the reason is because of the fact that we have the 412, which runs directly out of Springdale onto the Oklahoma Turnpike. And we have Interstate 49, which goes directly south into like obviously Texas and then north into Kansas City. So it's a huge hub for easy access for so many things. So when it comes to supply chain management, JB Hunt, any sort of industrial section, there are so many businesses that come here because of the highway system, the transportation, the infrastructure that's been built out for the last 10 to 15 years. There's been so many businesses that have moved here because of those reasons. All right, that's all I have for you guys today. Again, thank you so much for watching. If you are thinking about moving down to Northwest Arkansas, download my 3-day itinerary link down below. It's for you. So maybe you're an adventurer, maybe you're a sports person, maybe you have kids, maybe you're a sightseer. There's a 3-day itinerary link down below for you. I've had so many people come down here and use it and just go through the whole thing and spend the 3 days and go through all of Northwest Arkansas and just quickly realizing like, oh my gosh, there's so much to do because there's so much to do down here. Also, we can check out some homes for sale or for rent and see how far your dollar will go in Northwest Arkansas compared to where you're coming from. All right, guys, let's see you in the next one.